And bombshell, highly sensitive medical dossier has surfaced online in the last 3 hours, destroying Rick Ross's legend of being the largest boss and untouchable. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has officially detonated a social media grenade in a horrific digital execution, releasing a psychological doomsday drop that threatens to permanently and irreversibly destroy Rick Ross's whole multi-million-dollar career. This has nothing to do with financial insolvency or phony chains. This is an extremely private and frightening anatomical disclosure. 50 Cent has acquired unredacted, forensic-level close-up photos of a severe, secret, and extremely unsettling medical skin ailment that Rick Ross has spent years frantically concealing behind closed doors. The photos show a face and neck devastated by frightening sores and deep, painful pitted scars. While we speak, the self-described millionaire is allegedly stranded in his own 300-acre house in Georgia, utterly alone, and shouting into his phone in a panic while his worldwide enterprise collapses in real time. Why is the whole rap community in complete stillness, and what did 50 Cent just discover? We must thoroughly open the historical archives and reveal the raw, bleeding roots of this legendary battle in order to fully comprehend the absolute, earth-shattering extent of the physical and psychological devastation taking place throughout the music industry right now. This isn't a planned marketing gimmick or a transient, informal social media trend meant to produce rapid streaming stats for the debut of a new album. You are currently witnessing the disastrous result of an 18-year psychological war of attrition between Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and William Leonard Roberts II, the man who painstakingly constructed a multi-million-dollar kingdom based on the exaggerated moniker of Rick Ross. These two titans of the industry have been embroiled in a bloody, poisonous battle for almost 20 years, with the ultimate objective never being to just top the worldwide streaming charts or land a Billboard smash. No, the goal has always been far darker. The complete, unwavering elimination of the other man's reputation, dignity, and legacy from society. Every high-ranking insider in the entertainment industry was aware that this ticking time bomb would ultimately go off and one of these titans would use a weapon so poisonous that it would destroy the other in the eyes of the public. This pure animosity can be traced all the way back to a single, explosive moment in 2008, when street combat was just starting to give way to internet beef as the main arena of rap conflict, marking a radically different age of the music industry. At the BET Hip Hop Awards, 50 Cent, who was at the pinnacle of his terrifying worldwide G-Unit supremacy at the time, allegedly shot Rick Ross a chile, contemptuous glance that ignited a fire of furious, personal disrespect. This marked the formal start of the battle. Driven by the enormous economic success of his early street songs, Ross quickly rose to prominence and saw this quiet rejection as an unacceptable public humiliation. The dispute erupted in a matter of months after Ross released specific songs that explicitly denigrated 50 Cent's financial empire and questioned his standing on the streets. The Queen's rapper's reaction was quick, drastic, and historically disastrous. 50 Cent did more than simply head to a recording studio to deliver a counterattack. Rather, he sent top-tier private detectives to delve deeply into Florida's secret, sealed archives. Hip-hop was completely rocked when he appeared with formal institutional checks, government employment documents, and background photos. As a former institutional prisons officer, the man who had established a whole musical kingdom on the rigid myth of being a worldwide drug kingpin was made public. The disclosure made by Officer Ricky was a devastating blow. An exposure of such size should have ended William Roberts' career within a day in the strict credibility economy of the time. The enormous weight of the public ridicule would have caused any other artist to permanently collapse. However, Rick Ross used an incredible psychological survival tactic. He was adamant about not folding. Rather, he doubled down on his opulent display and decided to totally outflex the truth. In order to totally obscure the biographical truth, he went out and bought the enormous 300-acre, 109-room mansion owned by boxing legend Evander Holyfield. One he proudly dubbed it the Promised Land and flooded the digital landscape with an untouchable display of exotic cars, gold-plated aesthetics, and custom private jets. He effectively created the illusion of untouchable boss wealth by persuading the world's audience to trust the presentation over history. However, 50 Cent continued to watch while Ross was occupied with celebrating his survival and showcasing his goods on social media. Slow-burning structural demolition is a specialty of Curtis Jackson. He knows with clinical accuracy that a perfect physical appearance is more than just an upscale fashion statement in hip-hop. It is the most valuable form of credibility. 50 Cent was aware that Ross's ultimate weakness, a brittle facade that was just waiting to be hit, was his obsession with physical perfection and presentation of godlike invincibility. 50 Cent deliberately filed for bankruptcy protection using the corporate legal system as a tactical shield to protect his real assets, even after being hit with a massive $5 million court verdict in 2015 over a highly personalized sex tape scandal. This allowed him to grow into a multimillionaire television and film mogul who was totally independent of the rap music market. He surreptitiously constructed an untouchable television empire while keeping a close eye on Ross's every personal move and waiting for the ideal opportunity to launch a strike that would gradually destroy the boss persona. This brings us straight to the horrifying reality of the current covert medical crisis, an exposure so deep that it makes their previous disputes seem insignificant. It also formally sets the stage for the disastrous 24-hour countdown that has just brought the entire hip-hop industry to its knees. At precisely 3:14 a.m., the absolute structural horror started to flash over insider networks. The M. Eastern Standard Time yesterday morning, demolishing the last vestiges of both personal and corporate privacy. You must picture the precise geographic location where this luxury mirage was destroyed in order to completely comprehend how masterfully and brutally planned this strike actually is. The Promised Land, Rick Ross's high-security home in Georgia, features an extremely exclusive master suite. Rick Ross has been experiencing a real-life horror film behind closed doors, according to extremely detailed disclosures from senior domestic employees who saw the whole thing happen. The rapper reportedly stopped attending in-person meetings, postponed important international business dinners, and refused to leave his personal space for a number of weeks. Ross's corporate partners were given the official justification that he was working on a groundbreaking new multimedia project while in complete creative solitude. However, a high-end, specialized dermatology clinic in Atlanta reportedly had an encrypted internet portal compromised, which exposed the awful truth. A set of ultra-high-definition, unredacted close-up photos appeared on a private Telegram channel intimately associated with the G-Unit media network within minutes of this digital breach. These clinical photos depicted a biological disaster. According to the photos, Rick Ross's upper chin, neck, and chest are currently severely damaged by an aggressive, highly inflammatory skin infection that has left him with painful, weeping sores all over his body as well as deep, permanent, crater-like pitted scars. It was a horrible contrast. A tangible catalyst had been the fabled, multi-million-dollar, hefty gold Cuban link chains Ross wore to project ultimate power. A horrific, flesh-eroding dermatological crisis had resulted from the heat, perspiration, synthetic gold polish, and the sheer weight of the jewelry creating a severe chemical friction that trapped microorganisms deep within his pores. Even while the physical visual exposure was startling, the real psychological horror film was only getting started. 50 Cent posted the unredacted close-up photo of the scarred, infected flesh on his primary social media channel less than 2 hours after it was taken, along with a string of crude, derisive remarks. "Look at this. The biggest boss is literally rotting from the inside out," 50 Cent wrote on social media. "You can't even wear your false chains anymore because your skin is rejecting the cheap brass, Ricky. You're out there pushing the kids to grow rich forever, but your own body is trying to evict your face. Officer Ricky, the mold is taking over. The presentation is dead." At around 4:30 a.m., insiders characterized the emotional impact among Rick Ross's immediate inner circle as nothing short of complete blood-soaked mayhem. Verified screenshots of an encrypted corporate WhatsApp group chat named MMG2 Executive Emergency were disclosed by an unidentified whistleblower. According to the leaked transcripts, Ross was allegedly going on a furious, unchecked rampage inside his mansion, screaming in all capital letters, demanding to know which member of his personal staff or medical team leaked the medical charts, and ordering his legal defense team to shut down the media servers immediately before his global spirits and lifestyle brand sponsors froze his distribution payouts. The text messages painted a terrifying picture of pure, unadulterated panic, and Ross went completely out of bounds and threatened to fire his entire security and public relations staff when his chief legal counsel responded that a standard cease and desist cannot remove a photo that 50 Cent has actively hosted under a protected framework. However, right here, at the height of the chaos, comes the first mind-bending twist that has left the world's top corporate lawyers completely paralyzed with shock. This horrifying skin infection was not a naturally occurring dermatological disease, and as investigative journalists and independent medical consultants dug deeper into the leaked clinical records, they uncovered a hidden, terrifying detail that transformed the entire celebrity scandal into a literal psychological thriller. In order to maintain a youthful, aggressive boss appearance for his upcoming world tour, Rick Ross allegedly underwent an illegal, highly experimental MMG will always exist. The psychological terror was so great that Meek Mill removed the post from the internet in less than 60 seconds, sending a wave of utterly terrifying silence through the rest of the Maybach Music Group roster. However, 50 Cent, operating with absolute clinical malice, clapped back within seconds, publicly telling Meek to shut up before he leaked the medical and plastic surgery invoices for his own secret cosmetic procedures. In order to protect his own corporate alignments, even international superstar Drake, who has a complicated past with both artists, reportedly posted a single laughing, crying emoji on a major rap blog before wiping out his social media activity for the day. By late evening, the corporate backlash had become utterly vicious. Fearing brand damage from an illegal black market medical scandal, top-tier luxury beverage brands and major global distribution partners reportedly called emergency midnight board meetings to immediately suspend their multi-million-dollar endorsement contracts with Ross. However, just when the public believed the drama had reached its absolute ceiling, a third terrifying piece of evidence leaked from an encrypted source, raising the stakes to an astronomical level. An official medical emergency transport vehicle was parked right outside the heavy iron gates of Rick Ross's main estate in Georgia, the Promised Land. The camera caught a close-up of private medical personnel wearing hazmat suits delivering large, heavy-duty silver medical storage cases in this blurry, high-contrast photo. The return address marked in the upper corner belongs to the Infectious Disease Division of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, not a nearby hospital. According to the leaked text that goes with the picture, medical scientists are actively looking into whether the experimental process has caused a highly contagious resistant superbug strain inside the mansion, rather than merely receiving the chemical data. Is the 300-acre Promised Land house going to be placed under quarantine by the federal government? Those silver containment boxes contain what horrifying biological evidence? The answers are about to alter everything, and the apocalyptic countdown clock is getting closer to zero. Every major social media network is becoming a volatile, high-octane war due to the horrifying speed at which this medical scandal is spreading, fully overwhelming the worldwide digital infrastructure. Millions of active accounts, reputable business leaders, and global news organizations are all engaged in a fierce psychological battle. The comment sections on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok have totally deteriorated into toxic, hyperactive pits, splitting the entire cultural landscape into two intensely antagonistic groups that are actively destroying one another. Team 50 Cent has started an unremorseful victory parade on one side of the digital trenches that is completely destroying the timeline. The G-Unit fan following has turned the internet into a weapon, flooding every old post about Rick Ross's opulent lifestyle with billions of green face, syringe, and biohazard emojis. Public ridicule has escalated to an unprecedented degree of harshness. 50 Cent didn't just defeat him in a rap battle, he literally executed a hostile biological takeover of his entire physical body, says one popular post that has received over 400,000 likes. Imagine having a billion-dollar corporation for 20 years, only to discover that your deadliest enemy has the secret recipe for the poisons that are destroying your neck. Officially, Repo Ricky is out of bounds. You are a warning label rather than a boss if your face is starting to resemble a science experiment from high school. On the other side of the ledger, however, Rick Ross's ardent supporters and hip-hop purists are retaliating with an utterly desperate fury. They are screaming that the leaked clinical records, laboratory invoices, and infection photos are nothing more than a highly sophisticated deepfake cyber attack designed by 50 Cent's specialized technical team to mentally break the boss. And they are flooding the